Arsenal 1, Fulham 1, Eddie Nketiah rescuing Arsenal at the death. Not a good performance overall, there's no doubt about that, but blushes saved at the very last moment this afternoon. They huffed and puffed, they couldn't blow the door down as well as they would have liked to. That is certainly for sure, but a lot of controversy in this game as well. Arsenal fans not happy with VAR. They felt that Ceballos' early goal should have counted, and I want your views and opinions on that one. I truly, truly do. Equally, was it a penalty? Did Fulham deserve the penalty? Did Gabriel commit enough of a foul in your opinion? Or was today another one of those days, another one of those moments where Arsenal fans are just going to feel aggrieved? They're going to feel like the officiating was just against them. I want to know what your thoughts and feelings are. We're going to share the link for you to phone in and have your say in just a few moments' time. See here says Arsenal thought they were big after they beat Slavia Prague. They can't even beat a relegated Fulham team. Also, Martinelli nowhere to be found. I suppose this is today is the reality for Arsenal, though, isn't it? Today is that reality that although there was a barnstorming top-class performance against Slavia Prague on Thursday, reality bites on the Sunday. Reality bites that, as it stands right now, the overall club of Arsenal is a mid-table side, and a lot of work's got to be done in the summer to convince me that they're anywhere close to being able to pull away from that as a football club. A lot of work is going to be needed. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. A lot of people here saying finding Martinelli. Some saying Martinelli was man of the match. We've got a comment here from Lowell who says it was a clear penalty. Gooners, what do you think? I want Gooners' opinions. I want viewers' opinions. 7 minutes added time was a joke. I don't think so, really, because there was a goal. That penalty decision took, what, about 3 minutes, 4 minutes to decide? So there's normally 3 or 4 minutes added on the end of every game. You have 3 or 4 minutes for a long VAR decision, and you've got to do it. Fulham, though, at the end, they become too negative, bro. Fulham at the end became too negative. They sat too deep, and they invited the pressure on. It's as simple as that for me. They should have been a bit more expansive. Shabman says, big up, Terry. Not happy with the performance of Arsenal, but I have to give it to Matty Ryan today. He was very protective and contributed for the equaliser. He did actually. The goal, for a goalkeeper to be involved as heavily as he was, that was excellent, no doubt about it. Man like Slen says, what do the Arsenal fans think of the players celebrating an equaliser versus a relegation threatened team? I'll let the viewers answer that one. It isn't for me, not being an Arsenal fan. Make sure like buttons are being hit, as we say. Another super chat from King Cantona says, what's worse is that Arsenal might be rewarded for their mediocrity with a spot in the Super League. Well, I haven't read too much about this news. I know that a lot of the top teams in England and across Europe have voted to take part in a European Super League, which effectively would see the end of the Champions League in itself. My understanding is it would be a league that the elites would just be in. You can't get relegated from it. The elites are just in it. There'll be big money involved. I don't like the idea of it. I love the idea of being in the Champions League. You're rewarded. Winning leagues, coming second, third, fourth, or winning Europa League or Champions League. You have to be one of the best in your league or a champion of some sort to qualify. To be able to finish 10th in your own league, but because of the history of your club, being able to play in an elite European competition, something about that just doesn't sit right with me. Doesn't sit right with me. And that's, my club finishes 5th. We don't win the Europa League or Champions League. We don't deserve to be in the Champions League. Comment here from Sohan, who's an Arsenal fan, says, never a penalty. Says never a penalty out there today. DJ says, Arsenal so mid-table is unbelievable. Giving all the crap to Chelsea, except the fact that you are nowhere near our level and never will be. New Tide, who is an Arsenal fan, says, sack this clown Arteta. And I can understand why some Arsenal fans are angry today. You go through that euphoria at the weekend, on Thursday. You move to the weekend and it falls apart. And overall today, look, Arsenal were the better team. Not just to the eye. They had 70% of the ball. They had 15 attempts to 3 on target. They were the most dominant force. But there was that lack of quality. There was that lack of finishing touch. And I know there was a controversial offside. It was the toe. It was a few inches off Saka's foot that ended up ruling out Ceballos' goal. But there weren't very many gilt-edged chances. There weren't very many moments where you thought, oh, wow, barring Pepe. Now, Pepe had a headed chance, and Areola deserves a lot of credit for the save, but it did appear more to me a bad miss as opposed to a very good save. But everyone's going to have a different view and opinion on that, I feel. Make sure you leave your comments below. Make sure you get yourselves involved as soon as possible. Smash that like and share. But I'm sorry, I'm just reading a message that's come through me. I'm checking what it is. We're going to open up the lines now for you to all come on and have your say. We've got Igal and Sam already backstage. We're going to share the invite in the comment section now. We're going to type that out. I'm going to copy it so it's ready to be pasted again. Get yourselves on. I want to hear from you. First up on the show with me today is going to be man like Igal. Got the equalizer. Another average performance. Refereeing decision going against you again. Give me your thoughts, mate.
Honestly, Terry, at this point, I don't care about the league. It's just the performance was horrendous. When it comes down to it, we are where we are because of our own letdowns. And even if we won this game, we'd still be in 9th at the end of the week. So you know what? Now we could possibly drop down to possibly what, 11th, 12th? I don't even know about the league position anymore. I'm not looking at it. The game itself, we battered them the first half. We should have destroyed them. We had all the chances. We created clear-cut chances. We had three, I would say, clear goal-scoring opportunities before halftime. We even had a goal cleared off the line. We had 2 times that we put the ball in the back of the net, which were disallowed. And that's our own fault. Now, going to the refereeing decisions. I don't think Craig Poulsen should ever ref a game with Arsenal. I think he clearly has an agenda against Arsenal, and this is not even funny at this point. Like you've seen some of the decisions that today, I could say they're contentious, and that every time that it could go against us, it almost did. Even that last goal, they were looking for Rob Holding to be interfering with the ball or something, which usually, hey, if the ball goes in the net, they do look for stuff, but I don't think Rob Holding was interfering at all. And everything that they could do went against us. And you know what? I don't know how people are going to blame the manager. I get why they want the manager gone, because they look at the whole collective season. But today's performance was just, we lacked clinical edge. We were doing the one-touch passes. There was a moment where Mohamed El-Neni, I could point this out, all he had to do was play a softly weighted pass into Smith Rowe's away, and he'd be through for a goal. Instead, he pings it out for a friggin' free kick. So we're not clinical, and we're not clear-cut. And this is the same mistakes over and over again throughout the whole entire season. And this is where we are, man. This is where we are. We're going to finish in mid-table. We're going to be mid-table. And you know what? At this point, it's not even banter. Just call us mid-table. I don't care.
Well, yeah, I mean, on what you've said, there are 2 things. In the league, so you're on 32 games. Leeds have a game in hand over you. If they win that, you would drop to 10th. Villa have 2 games in hand. If they were to win just one of those games, they go in front of you. If they were to win both, you drop into 11th. You're level on games with Wolves, so you won't go below 11th, but you're sort of in, your league position. I don't see you finishing above 8th this season, because Everton have a game in hand over you, and they're 3 points in front. They win that, it's suddenly 6. It's a long way back. On the refereeing side of things, you really believe that there's an agenda against Arsenal, don't you? You feel really hard done by.
Honestly, man, I just don't get how. First of all, I felt like that he didn't. I don't think he stepped on his foot. I didn't see clear evidence of that. It looked like he was diving from my perspective. I might need to see it again, but I'm not sure. Is there actual footage of him stepping on his foot, or is it just him like jumping over? Because it looked like he jumped.
VAR, I'm not too sure what you were watching, like in terms of the thing, but yeah, VAR, you can clearly see it in motion. We actually have a screenshot as well that we can put up on the screen, also, which we can share right now. So that's a screenshot zoomed in. He stands on the guy's foot.
Okay, what about the second phase of play? Was it offside?
No. It was onside. It was, again, according to what we saw, not my decision, but in terms of what we saw, it was onside by as much as Saka's foot was offside. So it was just about onside, yes.
Okay, so where's the consistency? Is Saka's opening goal offside, and is the second one offside? So rule them both out, or give them both. I don't get it.
What I'm saying is your one was offside by an inch or two. Theirs was onside by an inch or two. What I'm saying is it was marginal, but it was onside. So again, for me, I thought it was a penalty. It was a clumsy mistake from Gabriel. I hear what you're saying about Arteta today, though. I do hear what you're saying, that, you create the openings and the opportunities. Your players just didn't put it to bed. But it's another game at home without a win. You look at this season, 13 wins, 7 draws, 12 defeats. There really does need to be a marked improvement next year, doesn't there?
Honestly, these guys lack motivation at this point. You could tell they look like they're not playing for anything. And when they drew and they seen them celebrating, honestly, a part of me was disgusted, because it's like we're drawing against a team that's about to get relegated, and you guys are celebrating a draw. Pick up the ball and just go up there, honestly. But hey, when it comes down to it, I get why people want the manager out. I get why people criticize the manager. But I felt like today it's another time where it's shown that these players just lack the finishing edge, the finishing cutting edge. And Pepe, that clearance off the line, you know what he was trying to do. He was trying to get it across the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper did a good job, and it just was not our day, man. Let's hopefully we move on. We brush ourselves off. We move on, because in the grand scheme of things, everyone's been saying the season's over. So I'm not surprised that we're having bad performances. It's just the teams that we're having them against. That's what's shocking.
No, I totally get that, mate. Listen, we're doing singular calls today, but thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say, and we'll chat to you again soon. It's man Lucky Gal. Next up on the show, we've got who we're going to get on next. We're going to get young Samuel on. What you saying, mate?
What are you saying, Terry? Listen, I'm not going to go on like a gal and blame the referees constantly, because today, some of these players on the pitch were absolutely embarrassing. Today we walked into the game, we made 5 changes. I can totally understand, because we're in the depths of the season and some players need a rest. But Mohamed Elneny, every time he starts in the Premier League, he can't do anything right. There was a moment of play in the game where Smith Rowe was literally free in the space in the final third, and only had a simple pass, just a simple forward pass to Smith Rowe. This guy passes it backwards. He's done this for 3 years now. Every time I've seen him play in the Arsenal shirt, he does the same thing week in, week out. I'm getting sick of this. Honestly, I want to go with the attack today. I thought the lineup with the attack was great. No Arsenal fan can complain about it today, but everything else to a man was just embarrassing. Embarrassing. That's what it was.
What do you put that down to, though? Is it embarrassing because the players are not good enough? Is it the system? Is it the coaching? What do you think? Because today's not an isolated game. Some people say we had a lot of shots, we had no clinical edge. You've failed to win. You've failed to win 19 of your Premier League games this year. 19 games you have failed to win. You put that into you compare that to, say, Manchester United, it's at 13. You compare that to, the Man Cities as well, which is 9. Like you're light years away from these teams in terms of the level of games you're not winning. Is it a combination of all these things? What is it, in your opinion, that's leading to this?
I think the main thing is, over the past years, the recruitment of the club, getting below average players like Mohamed Elneny that was brought in, players like Granit Xhaka, players like even Nicolas Pepe sometimes, who were brought in for a large amount of fees, and they have not performed at this football club. And also, the players lack motivation. It's been 3 managers now. They've done the same thing. Consistently play crap week in, week out. I guess I'm going to have to say the manager gets to blame today. That Mikel hasn't been good enough this season. Maybe it's due to his squad. Maybe it's due to him himself. It could be a combination of both. But listen, if we want to win the Europa League, and we play anything like that, we're not even get to the final. We're going to get the leg tie will be done within the first leg. That's how bad.
Mate, I think it's true. And remember, Villarreal are the best team you played. So you've actually had a fairly easy running to get to this semi-final. With all due respect, the group, you had teams like Dundalk in it. You haven't had a team that's got like Champions League pedigree at all, as far as I can remember. So it's a big test for you. You've got a midweek off, I think, which is going to be really important to recoup and rest. But listen, any performances like this against Villarreal, and it could be a very, very, very bad evening. It really, really could. Samuel, thanks for coming on, having your say, young man. Appreciate that a lot. Next on the show, we've got man like Brandon. What are you saying, Brandon?
How are we doing, Terry? You all right?
Yeah, I'm very well. What do you want to say, mate?
Well, this is the story of Arsenal's season, mate. Again, look, it weren't a great performance. I'm not going to lie. Players looked off the pace. It looked like, playing midweek has sort of caught up with us a little bit, being out in Prague. I'm not going to complain too much about the starting 11 either, because I expected changes, 5 changes. But then you got to look and see, well, we really have got a poor squad, because out of them 5 players, you could probably only argue that Martinelli is good enough for Arsenal. You know what I mean? I think questions have to be asked of Arteta again today, though, because Lacazette on Thursday was given the armband. He showed leadership. He showed everything that you want from a captain. And then today, Hector Bellerin gets the armband. And you're asking questions about it, because it's clear that Hector Bellerin's not going to be here in the summer. So why are you giving him the captain's armband, for one? And it just seems to me like the captain's armband gets thrown around at Arsenal Football Club like a cheap hooker. Do you know what I mean? Like, we haven't got a set player who's the captain, and I think that affects certain things as well. Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. It's not good enough. Let's be real.
No, it isn't, and I think it's a real difficult one to sort of comprehend, because it's not even important at the moment. Your season isn't based around what you do. Finishing 8th and finishing 11th in terms of this season, yes, you want 8th is better than 11th in terms of where you sit, but in the cold light of day, all your eggs have got to go into this Champions League basket. Champions League qualifying basket via trying to win the Europa League. That's where the energy needs to be. But you want to play well. You want to get these positive results to give you that edge going into these games. Because if Villarreal's tough, and whoever you get in the final of the Europa League is going to be tough. You're getting Roma or Manchester United. So you can't allow, there'll be 2 or 3 weeks between the semi-finals and the final. That 2 or 3 week period is going to be key. You need to start building up some form ahead of that. You really, really do. Mate, listen, appreciate you coming on, having your say.
No worries, mate.
Thank you, mate. No problem. Next up on the show, man like Kesh is here. What you saying, bruv?
I'm good, brother. This game, man, underwhelming. We had the chances that we could have just buried the game in the first half. I think the rotation was necessary. I see a lot of people complaining about the rotation and everything, but those changes needed to be made, because there's certain players that we need to protect as well. And we need to make sure that if we do get important injuries to certain players, other players are fit enough to come in and do a job. It shows how important Partey is, and he's a main cog in this team in the midfield. We see that El Nani ain't able to do the job that he's required to do. But I don't really see this as a problem where we didn't create enough chances. If you saw, we had like 11 chances in the second half. We just didn't take them.
Yeah, it felt to me like a player issue. Like, I know NKEITAH scored that tap in at the end, but I looked at NKEITAH, I looked at Pepe at times today, and there just wasn't that cutting edge. And there's such reliance on Saka and Smith Rowe, and there shouldn't be, because of the age of those players. The club needs to go out and buy some experienced individuals that are older, better heads on their shoulders, as an example, to put these games to bed. Because, as we say, losing or drawing these league games now, it's not going to make or break the season as it stands. But we all know that Arsenal have got to improve going into next year, hugely. There's got to be a dramatic improvement, and you'd almost like to start to see the start of that improvement now rather than later.
No, definitely. Listen, as we know what our season's been. We know that the league hasn't been good enough. It's just about finding that consistency, and that's been our problem this season. Like, we've been so inconsistent, and when it comes to going to the latter stage of the Europa League, I think these players really need to take a look at themselves and realize what's at stake at this moment, because we can't go into a Europa League tie over 2 legs and play the way we've played today and expect that we're going to go through to the final. It will bite us in the arse.
No, mate, that's 110% it. And I understand the Gal's frustration and a lot of gooners with referees and, conspiracies and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you had an abundance of chances there. You put those to bed. The refereeing decisions don't matter. And yeah, it's frustrating when you're offside by half an inch. But at the same... So go on, mate.
I don't get the argument. It was offside. Saka was clearly offside. I know people are saying it's only a toe, but the letter of the law says if you are behind the player and it's a part of your body that can score a goal, you are offside. Yes, we understand that it used to be where the attacking player gets advantage, but at this current moment,
Oh, I think I lost Kesh. I think we lost him with a signal there. We'll try and get him back in a few moments. But I hear what he's saying. For me, I have an issue with the way the subjective decisions are starting to go with VAR. I feel that they're using it, no matter what the ref does, they want to protect the referee, so they're not overturning clear and obvious decisions. When it comes to the offside, offside is offside is offside is offside. We've got Andre that we're going to have on the show next. What you saying, bro? Hello, mate. What you saying? Not really, bro. Try and call back on a different mic. Can't hear you at all. We're gonna go to TJ next. TJ, what are you saying?
Right. Hello. I hope you're better than I am right now. I'm pissed. All right. That was a terrible performance. And the first time Miguel brought up the referee conspiracy thing, I was like, yeah, stop trying to deflect the blame. But this is just shocking, the standard of the refereeing. Craig Pawson, I'm sorry, he's not good enough to be in the Premier League. I look back at the Wolves game when he literally cost us the game. He cost us that Wolves game when we lost. He's cost us. I don't think he's cost us the game today because we were just bad. But
what did he get wrong today, TJ? What were his mistakes?
For their penalty, if Saka's offside, then they were offside because it was literally the same thing, and he gave it in decision. He gave it in favour of them.
So you saw that their penalty is offside. You thought they were a few inches offside rather than onside.
I thought they were off. Yeah.
But what did the lines tell you?
I looked at a picture of it, and they were. I don't know who it was. I can't remember who it was that won them the penalty, but they were. Their knee and leg was behind. I think it was Gabriel. But I'm not completely blaming the refs because today we just weren't good enough. I think it's kind of embarrassing that our players were celebrating that equaliser like we just won it when we haven't. And we're too reliant on players like Saka, Smith Rowe. Do I think it's on Arteta? Yeah, kind of. I am Arteta out, as you know. But today's not. I don't think today's on Arteta because we created chances. We just could not score. Mate, they defended well.
I make you absolutely right. Listen, I don't agree on the overall view on the with the referees, but in terms of yourselves not being good enough, not putting not putting the game to bed, that's just a story of your season. There's so many of those games this year that you lost in that horrible run. Go back and rewatch them. You were the better team. You had the abundance of chances, missed them.
The Leicester game when we lost 1-0 as the prime example. We battered them.
I mean, so many games this season have been like that for you, and that's just about overall quality instead of individual personnel. But TJ, I appreciate you calling, mate, and having your say. Top man. Speak to you again soon, bro. Thank you. Kesh is back with us, I think. No, it seems that it's frozen again. I'm not too sure what's going on with Kesh or where he's at. I think it's working now. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I had to move from where I was, so the reception went. Yeah, as I was saying about the offside thing, Saka was clearly offside. Yes, it's a toe, I understand, and it's very frustrating for every fan in the Premier League, but the letter of the law says if the part of the body that's offside that you can score with, if it's off and it's behind the man, it's offside. Yes, there's room for adjustment where you think we should go back to where we used to give the attackers the advantage, and I think that can be done. Whether it's a millimetre or whatever, that advantage should be there. I've seen what Wenger's been saying and things like that, and I think it's a good idea. Because we see these goals happen every so often where it's just a toe and you're just thinking, for goodness sake, just give it.
Mate, do you know what? I agree with it. And I've always said about the offside thing, I don't really care what the law or protocol is, as long as it's an objective decision with offside, as long as it's whatever the rule is, if it is that, you're done. And this kind of leeway thing. The problem with this leeway thing is that it's being overthought.
Yeah.
Because if you're allowed to have a leeway of, say, 3 inches, you can still be offside by a millimetre. You could be 3 inches and a little bit. And then you're still going to get someone. You're going to have someone that works it out. Because, well, actually, it's only 4, so it's only by again. Like, whatever you do, you're going to have that.
Exactly.
And make the leeway too far, then suddenly a player can be practically offside before he's given us onside. So I hear what you're saying on that. I think
in terms of the penalty as well, it's a clear penalty. It's a clear. I'm not going to put too much blame on Gabriel giving away the penalty because I've played that position and I know it can happen. It weren't a thing where he was being reckless or anything. It's just that moment, that 1 second too late in the player. It's just a penalty. You just have to move on from it and take it on the chin.
100%, mate. Kesh, thank you very much for calling in, mate. Really appreciate that, bro. Speak to you again soon, my guy. Thank you. Make sure you're all hitting that like button. We've got Slens backstage. First up, though, we've got Jess in the house. How you doing, Jess?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm all right. How about yourself? Another difficult game to watch as an Arsenal fan, but you did come through in the end. A bit of VAR controversy. I'd love your thoughts on what happened today.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will look at the referee decisions and think about it from that perspective. I personally couldn't care less about what the referee is doing because I think that regardless of the calls or if it's offside or not, we should be able to win a game relatively easily against Fulham. They didn't have a great game. You know, they essentially got one chance and came down, and obviously we gave away the penalty. But the level of the lack of mental toughness that this team has just irritates me so much because it seemed like the first 15 minutes we were confident, we knew what we were doing, and we were creating chances. Then after, a couple of, decisions from the ref didn't really go our way, then we just kind of gave up, and you could see the anxiety creeping in. In what world do you feel like you can't beat Fulham, even if you don't score in the first 20 minutes? And then we just kind of gave up. We had about 60 minutes of that game where we didn't really show up, and it took until the 80th minute for us to really get going. Eddie scores a goal. I don't really take any comfort in that. I just think, wow, we just blew it again. And it just shows how far off we actually are. It's annoying. I don't take any comfort from that goal. I mean, it still feels like a loss to me, to be honest.
No, I completely agree. And I feel the same if my team were in that position. I think, is it frustrating sometimes? I hear what you've said about you're not really focused on the referees because it may have been a perfect decision. It may have been a poor one. It may have been marginal. But I don't think Arsenal fans should be deflecting away from the fact that you failed to win 19 of your Premier League games this year. To put that all down to refereeing decisions, I think is a little bit shameless.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it gives us a level of to be able to deflect it, but we're off the pace. We're nowhere near good enough. And it's not about what we have on paper. Obviously on paper, we should be doing better. The game is not played on paper. It's a mentality issue with this team. It just seems like we play a good game and we do what we're supposed to do in Europe. And then we come back and we take a mental vacation. You can't do that in the Premier League. You have to be 100% committed every single game, regardless of who you're playing. And Fulham didn't even have to play well to get a point today. I've seen them play better and lose, so it's annoying to me. But if some people want to take it, say it's the referee and that kind of thing, because it gives them comfort, I understand that. But for me, it just there's so many questions about the mentality of this team, and it's frustrating.
Listen, Jack, I could not agree with you more. Absolutely brilliant call. Look forward to having you on the show again soon in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Talk to you soon.
Cheers, Jess. Thank you very much. Thank you. Final caller, because the Man United game is starting. We are live after that, and we're live after the FA Cup semi-final, and Midnight Vibes is on tonight as well. Big calendar day again for the Football Terrace. Man like Slens is in the house. What you saying, bro?
Yes, sir. I'll be doing well, man. I wanted to talk about a couple of points, man. It's just this whole VAR thing and the whole conspiracy against Arsenal. I'm kind of tired of hearing it, man. I think the way I see it is the issue we have is VAR. I feel like VAR scrutinizes every decision, right, and it does everything possible to disallow goals. You saw with the final winner. I don't really understand why it was reviewed for so long. It's a clear goal. I don't think holding was intervening with anyone. So what I'm saying is, Arsenal fans, stop looking at it as a conspiracy against you. I feel like we're all dealt the same hand. VAR, I feel like it's here for the wrong reasons, man. I'm slowly, every single game I watch, I feel like I'm complaining about VAR, and I don't like that. I really don't like it. When it comes to the offsides, as you said, Terry, it should be objective, not subjective. Because when you bring subjectivity into it, the referees can make mistakes, and there'll be more outrage. So I just feel like it's frustration for me, man. I'm starting to dislike it.
They need to add sound. We need to hear what's being
Exactly.
said. Because I think what they were doing with that final goal is they made the point that Holding made a play for the ball. Man United have just gone 1-0 down the opening 30s. Oh, it's been given offside. Henderson just made a massive mistake. He come out to punch the ball and he didn't get there. It's 10 seconds in. Awful mistake by Henderson, but it was given as offside. But let's see what VAR does now.
It's not a good way to start.
He's definitely offside, which is good. Well, it looks like it, but you never know these lines. But awful from the goalkeeper. He's slow off the mark. He comes out. Oh, my word. Because Lindelof leaves it because the goalie shouts, I've got it. He got away. He absolutely got away with one there, but we'll see what VAR is going to do. But yeah, I think what they were doing in the Arsenal game, Holden, you see what Holden does? He half puts out a foot and then goes towards it. Doesn't know NKEITAH is there. So officially he's made a play for the ball, which makes him offside. But what they were actually checking is whether the ball would hit the Fulham defender. The Fulham defender tries to make an interception and it hits him. So Holden therefore isn't offside anymore. So it almost becomes a case of Holden was offside, but they were looking to see if they could give it. But I hear your point. They're always trying to disallow it. So if you could just hear, if they were saying, listen, Holden is offside because he made a play for the ball, but we need to check whether the Fulham player who tried to intercept it has touched it. Because if he has, Holden's onside.
Terry,
it all go great. We understand.
Yeah, so you know the commentators, they actually get like a full review, like they get like everything. They get communication from I think from Stockley Park, because I've heard Gary Neville talk to the commentator and say they get communication, they get everything told to them. It should be told to us as well. I agree with you. In certain sports, that happens.
Yeah, but they get a bit of a what they're looking at. I said what we actually need to hear is like in rugby. We just need to hear the play. Like when a try is contentious, you hear the video referee and the on-field referee discussing it and talking. So you may not agree with it, but at least you understand what and why they're doing. If they would have said today, and that's what's needed now, because we need that clarity. Because we sometimes sit there thinking, how has that been given? Why has it been given? Where's the consistency? It's hella. Oh, they're in again here, Burnley. Oh God, these long balls are killing us today. That's a great opening.
I was going to make one last point before you head off. Sorry, I was going to say another issue of Arsenal. Yeah, like the performance, of course, is very important to look at. But you know, the main issue for me, if I was an Arsenal fan or a Chelsea fan watching that game, and Chelsea were playing, like if that last minute equalizer, if I see my players celebrating, do you know the problem with that is? Like NKEITAH got emotional because he hasn't been in the team for a while. He scored a last minute winner. It's understandable. I compare it to the Daniel James last year when he scored an equalizer. But you see, Daniel James, the difference is Rashford and was it Martial? They were running to grab him. No one in that team, in the Arsenal team, was running to grab him. Like, listen, what are you doing? Listen, let's go get the ball. Let's score another goal. I would be embarrassed, man. That's the main issue for me. Honestly, if I was an Arsenal fan, I would be outraged by that, man. That would make me so angry.
No, listen, I think that just it's a sign of where Arsenal have gone as a football club, mate. Listen, I appreciate you coming on, having your stay, mate. Top man, we'll speak to you again soon. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back live after Man United versus Burnley, so make sure you're tuning in. Until then, take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you all again very, very soon.